Today's Gospel, it's all about God's providence to us, God providing for us, God caring for us. And Jesus gets a little bit upset with his closest followers. This is Mark chapter 8. And we had just heard, it continues from yesterday, again, Jesus was getting upset with the Pharisees because they were begging him for a sign. They were saying, well, show us a sign, prove to us who you are. Jesus, it says, sighed a deep sigh. It says, there will be no signs for this generation. Partially because he had just finished doing, in the chapters leading up to this, many different signs, whether it be the walking on water, the multiplication of the loaves and the fish, to feed 5,000, the multiplication again of 7 loaves to feed 4,000, the healing of many people, both through his word, through touching them, through speaking. He was producing many, many signs. So we got to this point where the Pharisees show up and they say, all right, we've heard all the fuss about that's been going on. Show us a sign, prove to us that we should listen to you, that you have anything new to teach us, that you are a teacher worthy of our respect and our attention, really. And so that's where Jesus' frustration came just before this. And now he's fleeing. It says, after feeding the crowd, Jesus sent them away, got into the boat, returned to the other side with his disciples. Now the disciples are in this boat with Jesus, and we're not talking like a Titanic-sized boat. We're talking about a small fishing boat with just a small group of people. And what's the main thing on the disciples' mind is, probably looked at each other and said, did you bring the bread? No. Did you bring the bread? Uh-oh. They're wondering, okay, what's going to happen now? That was the one thing we had to take care of and we didn't do it. And so they were concerned. And they only had 1 loaf with them in the boat to split amongst, well, we could guess, at least a dozen people. And Jesus starts talking to them, watch out, beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and the yeast of Herod. And instead of listening to the words, listening to the message that Jesus is trying to teach them, they're still thinking about, we've only got 1 loaf, forgot the bread. And they're saying to each other, it's because we have no bread. This is what Jesus is clearly using a metaphor about yeast to try and say politely, well, you forgot the bread. And Jesus gets upset with them. He says to them, why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not perceive or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes and fail to see, ears and fail to hear? And you do not remember? You were with me during all of these things. You saw what I can do with a few loaves and fish. Fed 5,000 people, and now you have 1 loaf and you're worried about a dozen of us. And he even points out, he even asks them, see, he recalls, because they're so blinded by this one little thing that they focused on of we forgot to bring the food. And he's saying, how many baskets full of broken pieces did you collect after we fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread? How many baskets full? They said, well, 12. Still not fully engaged in what was happening. And then he says, well, we had 7 loaves with 4,000 people. How many broken pieces did we have left over from that? They said to him, 7. Do you not yet understand? Do you not yet get it? It's not about that. I will take care of you. I will take care of you. Again, the theme is God's providence. I will take care of you. I will provide for you. Don't get stuck up on the little details, the little bumps in the road. And that's something for us to take away from this. Sometimes we can zero in on one thing, and then all of a sudden tunnel vision happens. We forget everything else that's going on. We may even forget the whole point. We may forget the whole point. Think about family gatherings, I don't know, Thanksgiving, or just having people over, and we're preparing this big meal to celebrate, say, someone's birthday, or Thanksgiving, or Christmas, or something wonderful. Beautiful occasion to gather, people coming from out of town, and all of a sudden, we'll say that the wife looks at the husband and says, did you pick up the carrots? He thinks, I forgot about the carrots. But we have buns, we have frozen peas, all these other options. But all of a sudden it's all about the carrots. We totally forget that it's a birthday celebration. We totally forget of the blessings of all the people coming, the beautiful time that we have set aside to celebrate someone's life, the gift of their life in our family, whatever it may be. Sometimes we zero in on things, get tunnel vision, and completely forget. There's this huge argument about carrots. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be celebrating someone's birthday. Same thing. Same thing happens with our faith. Let's apply it to faith now. Say there's this one event in our life. It could be a traumatic event. It could be a sin that we're really holding on to and beating ourselves up about, or that happened to us, and that's the only thing in our mind. And all of a sudden, we stop praying. Stop going to church. Stop reading the Bible. Totally ignore all the blessings that the Lord has given us in our life. Because of that one event, that one person that did something wrong to us, that said something harsh to us. That one event we zero in on, and we forget all the other things that this is all about. This is all about God's love for you and I. This is all about our salvation of our souls, and to bring as many souls to heaven with us. That's the big picture. Sometimes we forget about that. Sometimes it's easy to judge another person and criticize them. And we can focus in on one thing. Yet we forget how beautiful, how wonderful they are, how good they've been to us in the past. How they're a wonderful opportunity of charity for us to help them, to offer goodness to them, to invite them out to an event or something, to pray for them. But we focus on this one thing, get completely blinded, and that last question that Jesus asks, do you not yet understand? That same frustration, that sigh, there will not be a sign for this generation because they don't get it. Because we don't get it. Sometimes that's what happens. So today, in today's readings, we're called to see the big picture. The big picture that God will provide, that God will take our little, whatever it is that we offer to Him, the little gestures of love, the little prayers that we make, the time that we set aside to pray, to come to Mass, those prayers that sometimes just like a sigh, Lord help me, Lord help them, help so-and-so. Those little prayers, Lord will take those things like those little loaves of bread and He will multiply them beyond our wildest dreams. Beyond our wildest dreams. And guess what? There's going to be leftovers. There's going to be baskets and baskets of leftovers. So those one little prayers that we make, there's going to be leftovers. The Lord will answer those prayers in different ways. Sometimes not the ways that we see it should be answered. Lord, help me win the lottery. Help me win the lottery. Sometimes those prayers, we don't want those answered in a way. It won't lead to the salvation of our soul. But those prayers of, Lord, help me in this moment, or help so-and-so, or help me get past this attachment, or this area of sinfulness or temptation, the Lord will multiply the graces abundantly, and they will ripple throughout our whole life, touching everyone around us and helping us in ways that we never dreamed were possible. Those are the leftovers. This theme from today's Gospel is all about God's generous providence for you and I. His generosity in caring for us, His generosity to provide for us, the generosity that He wants us to know Him and love Him in a deep way. And even if we just spend a little bit of time, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, trying to read our Bible or trying to pray, we may think it's these little insignificant things of why do I bother? It's just a couple minutes. I'm still doing all these other things. God will take those little things, those little offerings that we give to Him, those 10 minutes, those 5 minutes, those sigh prayers, and He will multiply them in abundance, and there will be leftovers for many people to come.